Coming to you live from our Sprung Gymnasium on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. Welcome inside our coverage of the Yellow Jacket women's basketball program. It's a big OAC matchup tonight as they host the Ohio Northern Polar Bears, the team that knocked the Jackets out of the OAC tournament on this floor last season. I'm Brendan Gulick alongside Jeff Miller. Coverage of tonight's game brought to you by Dan Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company, and by Papa John's Pizza in Berea, the official pizza provider of BW Athletics. Call them at 440-891-1900 or order online papajohns.com. Jeff, it's been a pretty good run for this Yellow Jacket team so far. They've only dropped one game, and they've lost to truly one of the other premier teams in the country, and the Wartburg Knights, who were in the National Final Four a couple seasons ago. And it certainly looks right now like Sherry Harrer's team is living up to the expectations they had for themselves beginning of the year.
No doubt about it. When you have a fifth-year senior in Hannah Feck that got injured early on last year, you thought great things coming back into this season. And the four senior starters are leading this team and taking them on their back. It's an interesting group to watch. They're fun, and we'll see where they're going to end up.
Well, you need your upperclassmen to play like it if you want to have special seasons, and certainly Sherry Harrer, who's closing in on 600 career coaching wins in her 30th year here at BW. She knows a thing or two about coaching veteran teams, and this team so far seems to have some pretty lofty goals in mind that they very much look like they can accomplish. And even though Ohio Northern is not quite what they have been in years past, this is a Northern team that is still very good. They had a disappointing year last year after, frankly, they had been the measuring stick in the OAC for a little while. This year's senior class at Ohio Northern, when they were freshmen, had the best run in program history. They went 30-1, went all the way to the Elite Eight. And obviously that was sort of the tone setter for the rest of the next few years. They've been in the OAC championship game 3 years in a row. And they're having a good season again this year, 10-3. They're 4-2 on the year.
It's one of those things that you never know with a Polar Bear team. You think they're having a down year, but they always somehow, Coach Durant always gets them going. And like we said, they like to win here.
Sure do. Well, keep in mind, they are coming in limping, if you will. They had a head-scratching loss at Muskingum, which I guess the drive from Ada to New Concord is a sleepy one. But Ohio Northern is not fazed by that recent loss as they get ready to go. Here we go from our Sprung Gymnasium. Jackets in gold, Ohio Northern in their black and orange. Megan Scheibelhut won the opening tip, but she got fouled 6 seconds into the game. Let's give you the starting lineups. You mentioned the seniors for the Jackets. Casey Hughes, Riley Schill back out there, Kara Marshall, and Hannah Fecht. They're all in their final year of eligibility. And then Megan Scheibelhut, the sophomore post player out of Avon Lake. The reason I mentioned Riley Schill is back in there. She was ill and unable to play in the team's contest this past week against Otterbein. And Fecht going to the free throw line. For Ohio Northern, they've got some Northeast Ohio kids on the team. Emily Brock is a junior from Revere High School down in Akron. Abby Weeks, a good player. She's from down in the Cincinnati area, Mount Notre Dame High School. Lexi Jacobs from Wapakoneta, sophomore guard. Martrina Parks, a senior post player from Worthington High School in Columbus. And Emily Mesher from Marion Local out in Western Ohio. Mesher, a 6-foot senior, and she is the team's leading scorer and rebounder on the season. So Hannah Feck gives the Jackets a 2-0 lead early on. Jacobs goes to her right, almost jarred free by Kara Marshall, and it rolls out of bounds.
One thing the Jackets have been doing lately on this 4-game winning streak is their defense has been stepped up. I know we did a game last week about the men, and they're proud of their defense. I think the women have taken that step too this year.
Well, when you can't shoot the ball well every single time out, sometimes you can't control that, but you can always control the effort you put in on the defensive end of the floor. You're right, the Jackets have really taken that to heart. Jacobs in trouble. She got it off in time, and she's going to the free throw line. Lexi Jacobs, good job cutting through the left side of the key there. And Jacobs will go to the stripe where she's a 74% free throw shooter.
That foul's on Feck, her first, team first.
There are only a couple of, I would say, really good free throw shooters for Ohio Northern so far this season. Jacobs is one of them. Polar Bears have not exactly been terrific from the line as a team. They're averaging just under 65% per game. 1 out of 2 is not what they drew up there, but Mesher grabs the rebound. Mesher could be a real problem today. She's got certainly the size to be a good post player in this league, but she's also the kind of player that typically plays under control pretty well. And you don't really want to drive at her on the defensive end of the floor. They feed Mesher, and she traveled with it.
And it's very interesting. We're talking about, she's a lot to handle, big player, but the person that's guarding her is Hannah Feck, not even Megan Scheibel. Maybe it's because Hannah can slide a little quicker than Megan.
I agree with you that the athleticism of Hannah Feck is got to have something to do with that. Feck finds Marshall. Jackets getting ready to send in some reserves here. Riley Schill in the right corner. Drives with her left hand, almost had it jarred free. Plenty of time for Casey Hughes. Bounces to Scheibel. Hunt turns and scores. 4-1 BW. Baldwin Wallace averaging almost 70 points per game, and they're winning by an average of more than 13 per night. 12-1 on the season, 6-0 through the OAC. She played 18 conference games. All other 9 schools in the league have played 2 times, home and away. So they're a third of the way through the league schedule, unbeaten. This is Sydney Ward spinning with her right hand, flies one up there on the right side of the backboard and fell away. Also on the floor over on that right-hand side, Martrina Parks plays really good defense. She's guarding Marshall here now. Scheibel pumps. Parks comes over to help on the baseline and apparently commits a foul. 7:41 first quarter. Jackets lead at 4-1. Elsewhere around the league tonight, Otterbein hosting Wilmington. John Carroll has Heidelberg at home. Mount Union hosting the Muskies. Capital is visiting the Marietta Pioneers. Haley Edwards, Izzy Andrews, and Megan Hensel all check on for the Jackets. Love the way Izzy Andrews played the last time out. One of her most productive games of the year is Hensel puts in her first basket.
Definitely with Izzy. We haven't really seen much of her. She played a lot on some games on the road. First time really seeing a lot of action, and she lived up to getting the freshman jitters out and playing here at home.
I think she got out there quite a bit because of Riley Schill's absence, but frankly, it's been hard for any freshman to find the floor with consistency this year, just given the productivity of the upperclassmen. This is Andrews in transition. And that's deflected out of bounds off Abby Weeks. 7:07 left first quarter. Jackets lead 6-1. Just underway at Baldwin Wallace if you're just tuning in. Edwards from a step beyond the right elbow. Put up a good-looking jump shot, but it didn't go in for her. Holding the ball at the point, rolling right. Rock goes back to the left-hand side. Got some help from Katie Eiliff, who's in there for the first time. And PW forces another turnover. Hensel wants to play fast, and she lays it in with the right hand. Michelle Duran calls a 30-second timeout. The Jackets running out to an 8-1 lead, 3.5 minutes in. You're watching Yellow Jacket basketball on BWYellowJackets.com. Berea. Didn't have a chance to introduce the officials to you yet. Joe Humiston is our head referee. Pat Campbell and Pete Kowalski working with him tonight. Michelle Duran calls a 30-second timeout to try to get the Polar Bears back in rhythm. Winningest head coach in Ohio Northern basketball history. 19th year for her. The record is 323 and 179. Hey, there's a 3 ball from right up top. Jacqueline Yankel out of Cardinal Mooney in Youngstown makes it 8-4. Gabby Garrett in the game for the Jackets. Andrews finds Hensel, almost threw it away. Andrews was open for the 3, and Instead, Jackets take too many passes and turn it over. I lift to the right side where Yankel tries to go baseline on Edwards. That's a double dribble. All right, here comes Sydney Snyder for BW. Casey Hughes will grab some cushion chair. They call it pine. They're practically recliners. Those chairs are so comfortable.
Not the wood ones we sat on back in the day.
Way back when you were a kid, huh?
Yeah, back when the good old days.
Left-hand side, Snyder for three. As the front of the rim bounces over. One and done for BW. Jackets have already forced 3 Ohio Northern turnovers in the first 4.5 minutes. The Polar Bears have only hit 1 basket from the field. Yankel with a good head fake. Stuffed down on the baseline, and that's a jump ball. Possession arrow stays down here.
Strong defense there by Izzy Andrews. Just stood up and blocked the shot and tied it up.
All right, so baseline inbound coming here. Bryn Serbin, freshman out of North Allegheny High School in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tries the right side three, and it's a little too strong. Ohio Northern statistically is having a decent season in some categories. Specifically on the defensive end of the floor. They're one of the top 10% of teams in the country in terms of field goal percentage defense. Pencil. Garrett open. Missed everything. Edwards couldn't get a second look at it. Yeah, they don't typically turn it over a lot. They don't commit a lot of fouls on the defensive end. It's a big reason why they win a lot of games. Jackets commit a foul. Their other conference loss came at Capital back on December the 14th. And they also lost a non-league game at Trine. That was back in December as well. For what it's worth, the Jackets beat both Trine and Capital. The Jackets pounded Muskingum by 40. Same Muskie team that beat Ohio Northern earlier this week. But this is definitely going to help Ohio Northern's cause. They can get to the free throw line tonight with any frequency. Just add a little extra pressure and give yourself a chance to score when the clock is stopped. That one did not go in for Katie Iliff. He's a Northeast Ohio native, went to Amherst-Steele High School, home of the Comets, home of occasional Yellow Jacket broadcaster Ryan McNaughton. Not sure if he's watching tonight. I know he's a Yellow Jacket fan, but man, does he bleed the Comets.
I think he's actually hosting the Hall of Fame. I think he's the MC for their Hall of Fame.
It wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Nope.
Here's Fecht in the backcourt. Away left-hand side. Over the top to Schill. Half the first quarter clock's expired. The Jackets have been off the board here for a couple minutes now. They still lead 8-5. Riley Schill holding. Snyder 5 to shoot. Side steps. Pulls up. Here come the Bears. Ohio Northern is certainly among the elite athletic programs in the Ohio Athletic Conference, men and women. They don't really have any teams that stink. They are, at a minimum, competitive. And in some cases, outstanding nationally across the board. Jump ball stays with BW. They've had soccer teams and basketball teams and track athletes that have competed for national championships. Emily Richards, one of the best D3 track and field athletes of all time, is a recent Ohio Northern grad. Jackets only lead by 1 here. 6 unanswered points for Ohio Northern, and Fecht puts that to an end. It's 10-7. Fecht with her 3rd and 4th points of the night.
Ohio Northern definitely has been playing some stronger defense. Some careless passes by the Yellow Jackets and some shots that just haven't gone down, and that's why the Bears were back in this.
Outside Iliff, dribbling around, and Fecht all over her. Now Yankel to her left. Iliff once more, driving the right baseline and somehow missed it short. Mesher trying to scoop it up. Instead, Iliff got it, and she got fouled on the way up. Boy, Ohio Northern is finding themselves at the free throw line quite a bit here in the first quarter. We'll take foul shots number 5 and 6. We haven't even played 7 full minutes.
But they need to start knocking these down. They can't be splitting them each time they come down.
Remember, Hannaford hit a couple free throws early on. You don't want to get in a free throw shooting battle with BW. Coming into tonight, as Iliff hits the first free throw. Baldwin Wallace, as a team, was 78.9% from the free throw line. Jeff, that is second best in the country out of 450 teams. You can bail yourself out of a lot of trouble when you take care of the ball from the free throw line with that kind of consistency. It's a surprise the Jackets are 12-1.
And you've seen some of that in some of these games where it's gotten tight, and then at the end of the game, they pull away.
BW leads 10-9, under 3 to go first quarter. Marshall, left side of the key, got fouled from behind. That might be on Mesher. Sure is. That's her second. So Ohio Northern's leading scorer is going to check out of the game here, replaced by Sydney Ward. That's a little bit of a blow for the Polar Bears. While Scheibel back on for Sydney Snyder. Scheibel off the inbound, plus the foul. Good finish. Better inbounds pass.
Nice. The old Elyria Catholic Panthers, or Cougars. They're Cougars, right?
Elyria Catholic is the Panthers.
Or some sort of lion, tiger kind of thing. Cat.
You got me thinking now for a second. What is Elyria Catholic? They're green and white. I should know this. Elyria Catholic Athletics. Let's see what it spits out here. They are the Panthers. You were right. You should have trusted your gut.
Yeah, well, I second-guessed myself. A green and white team. I thought they were Lake Catholic.
Oh, fair enough. Lake Catholic is definitely the Cougars. All right, 12-9 Jackets. 2:32 left first half. This would tie it up. And it rattles away. They're trying that left side three ball from Glenn Servin. Hughes hesitates, drives baseline. It's deflected on the pass to Scheibel. She couldn't finish it. Got caught too far underneath the basket. Now it's Jaden Hale, a sophomore from Bath High School. Out in Lima. From the right corner, Hale, high arcing three, didn't fall in. Effect grabs the rebound. It's clock hits 2 minutes to go first quarter. BW's hit 5 of 10 from the floor. Ohio Northern only 2 of 8. The Polar Bears are down just 3 because they've hit 4 of 6 free throws. Oh boy. Servin a little slow to get up, still laying on the midcourt line. And they'll stop things for a moment here.
I think she got a little tangled up with Izzy Andrews and the official right there. Servin's been playing some very good defense, and I was going to say, watching her shoot threes, she's a pure shooter.
I'm really glad to see her get up under her own power and trot off the floor there. Hopefully she's just a little banged up. I don't want to speculate at the nature of the injury. I don't know if it was knee or ankle or whatever. It certainly looked to be lower body, but hopefully she can catch her breath, walk it off, and get back out there. Yankel working around the perimeter with Alyssa Staller out of Shawnee High School. Yankel in trouble, and she traveled with it. It's the 4th ONU turnover.
Twice when she's gotten caught there, she's either picked up her pivot foot or tried to dribble again when she's in danger by it. Casey Hughes was all over on that one.
Coverage of tonight's game presented by the Oswald Company. They'll handle all of your insurance and risk management needs. Baldwin Wallace by 3. Approaching 1 minute remaining in the first quarter. The Jackets try to win their 5th in a row to get to 13-1. Andrews, Scheibel off the window for 2. 14-9. That's 6 now for Megan Scheibel. Oh boy, somebody missed an assignment. Put it on a platter for Lexi Jacobs.
Those are those types that you see that are so wide open that they tend to miss. She took her time and laid it off the window.
Shot clock and game clock are roughly 11 seconds apart here. Marshall, Scheibelhut, and she's fouled again. Megan Scheibelhut has played an extremely productive first quarter. Draws a foul there on Alyssa Stoller. The ankle comes out. Looks like she's being replaced here by Emily Brock.
It's one of those things that the Yellow Jackets, in the more recent games, that you notice that they're attacking and doing a nice bounce pass to whoever's under Scheibelhut, Edwards, whoever, and they're laying them in for easy baskets.
Mesher back on the floor for Ward. It's a little bit of a gamble here for Michelle Duran. She doesn't want her leading scorer to pick up a third foul. Scheibelhut connects on the free throw. BW still doesn't have a three-pointer to their credit. 0 for 3 from deep. Scheibelhut, perfect. Now she comes out. Lily Edwards in there. Scheibelhut, 8 points in the first quarter. She's got half of BW's offensive output. Perhaps she could be working on a night that she won't soon forget. Career high is 14. Another good opportunity, and Jacobs draws the foul in addition to the layup.
Ohio Northern's seeing whatever that is. I don't know if BW's thinking they're going to get the backside help, and they're not, and they're all trying to switch, and nobody's there. So easy layups back-to-back for the Polar Bears.
16-13 as Jacobs tiptoes the free throw line. Calmly puts it in. And Effect comes back in here for Marshall. Keep your eye on her. She could potentially shoot a three here. 7.9 seconds left first quarter. Riley Schill to her right with 2 seconds. Riley underneath, and the Jackets don't get a shot off. At times this year, BW's been very good about working the clock down and taking shots. Good defense from Ohio Northern, and BW prevented from trying to add to it. All right, one quarter of the books. It's a good game. 16-14. Jackets by 2 here in Berea. Berea. Moving along here in Berea with the Yellow Jackets out front by 2, 16-14 over Ohio Northern. Along with Jeff Miller, I'm Brendan Gulick. Wilmington leads Otterbein 19-15 after 1. John Carroll has a 15-9 lead over Heidelberg after 1 quarter. And Capital trails Marietta 21-11 early in the second quarter. Also Mount Union 26, Muskingum 21. 1 minute gone in their second quarter. Lexi Jacobs hit most of the rim there, but didn't go in. Edwards, Garrett, Fecht, Hughes, and Schill will turn it over. Jackets have never trailed in this game. They've led by as many as 7 when they got to an 8-1 lead. Ohio Northern could tie or take the lead here with a bucket. Points for Megan Scheibelhut, leads all scorers. 6 for Lexi Jacobs, pacing the way for Ohio Northern. Jacobs to her right, and it's poked away. Good defense from Gabby Garrett. Fecht saves it, throws it to Schill. Gabby Garrett's open, and she hits it. First three ball for Baldwin Wallace, and they take a 19-14 lead. Polar Bears having a tough start here to this second quarter.
Yellow Jackets got away with one there. Gabby Garrett went to the floor, and the bounce pass just went right past the Polar Bears and out of bounds. Otherwise, it was an easy layup.
And Effect trying to make it 2 straight threes. BW to B. I think the Yellow Jackets have forgotten the last meeting between these two. The OAC quarterfinals a year ago, when the second-seeded Yellow Jackets were knocked out of the tournament on their home floor. Lily Edwards plays terrific defense, denying Sydney Ward. Now Northern, frankly, has had BW's number the last several years. Bobbles its way to Garrett. Gabby somehow stays with it and lays it in. 13 of the last 17 meetings, Ohio Northern's come away with a victory. And you mentioned it earlier, Jeff, the Polar Bears seem to travel pretty consistently here to Berea.
Yeah, they've won 4 of the last 5. And in games like this, you got to try to get rid of the Polar Bears fast. You let them stick around a second half charged, and that seems how they always come back in a close game and win them.
Riley Schill pulls it right out of Sydney Ward's hip pocket. 2.5 minutes gone, second quarter. The Jackets' lead is all of a sudden 7 again. 5 straight points to start the second period. Northern has not scored yet this quarter. Edwards, long 2, popped away. A flat shot there from Lily. Reigning OAC Rookie of the Years. Having a pretty solid sophomore campaign.
Pretty scary lineup like we were talking about with the reigning Rookie of the Year, and one of your best players is your 6th man.
Absolutely. Julie Harrer loves her depth this year, no doubt. Ohio Northern hoists a 3 from the left wing. Good try from Weeks, but popped away. W about to do 5 in, 5 out next dead ball. Jill thought she had a driving lane, was stalled. On both sides of the floor. Edwards turns around, had enough room to get the shot off, and she puts it in.
Pretty little move there. I was going to say on her last attempt, that's not a shot you want Lily Edwards taking, but the shot clock was winding down.
Edwards with her first basket. Abby Weeks answers with her first. It's a 3 from the left side, 23-17. 5:50 left in the first half. As Gabby Garrett goes for 3, and Miss Garrett has hit a couple. 8 for Gabby Garrett. 8 for Megan Scheibelhut. Yellow Jackets with a 26-17 lead. They're getting some significant offense from players that average a combined 7.1 points per game. They've got 16 of the team's 26 in the first half.
That's another key to this team's success. And the Stars aren't doing it. Somebody steps up, it seems like, all year.
Andrews, Marshall, Scheibelhut, Megan Hensel, and Tiffany Bettler for the first time tonight out of the floor. Northern resetting things as well as Bryn Servin misfires on that jump shot. Glad to see she's okay back in there. In fact, she makes a great play. Good steal and layup.
Coach Duran's going to have a good, nice little point guard coming for the next 4 years.
Hard to disagree with that. Servin's a tough cookie. Bettler, good idea. Andrews from the corner, missed it. Servin goes and gets it. Yankel, Brock, Hale, all out there too. Post player right now is Alyssa Stoller. As Ohio Northern is called for their 7th turnover of the first half. It's a travel. Another substitution here. Annie Weckesser out of Chaminade Julienne down in the Dayton area. Makes her first appearance of the evening. lead it by 7. 4:35 left in the half. Andrews led Hensel nicely. And a jump ball. Stays with BW.
That was almost like a quarterback leading their wide receiver. And at first, when it went, luckily Hensel got there, it was almost to a point that you thought that ball was going right to the Ohio Northern bench.
Tight window. That's a good find. Jackets are +2 on the glass. They have outscored Ohio Northern's bench by 6 points early on, largely because of looks like that. Megan Scheibelhut has 10 in the first half. What a beautiful find from Andrews. 14 of BW's 28 points now have come from in the paint. They've only hit 2 threes. Kara Marshall with a great steal. She wanted to spin, and she traveled. Tried to get a little too cute.
It's one of the things about this team, they're always looking for the next thing, too. So sometimes just be selfish and go up instead of looking for the person coming back. Like you said, two threes after 11 on Saturday.
Ohio Northern gave up 10 threes to Muskingum on Saturday. They only hit 5 of their own 25. This is Weckesser. Launches long and right. Foul underneath when Stoller tried to grab the miss.
Should be on Hensel. That's her second now.
It is. Hensel's second, team second this quarter. So an effect returns. Well, between the Yellow Jackets' second round exit last year, with a team they knew they had so many pieces returning on, that combination with the start here in the 2019-2020 campaign, this team has their eyes on more than just an OAC championship this year. As Yankel's shot is blocked, Scheibelhut comes away with it. Marshall, good find. Bentler threw it off of Hale out of bounds. Look, there's a lot of basketball to be played.
Yes.
Let's not try to be prognosticators here, but it is at least fair to point out that the Yellow Jackets are right now currently ranked 12th in the country, but they are not the best team in the Great Lakes region. The distinction right now belongs to Hope, who is one of only 5 teams left that has not yet lost out of 450 in Division III women's hoops. This has always been a tough region, so if the Jackets want to host NCAA tournament games, they really don't have a lot of wiggle room. Scheibelhut called for going over the back. DePauw is having a terrific season. They are 14-1. DePauw is in the Jackets region. So the reality is, BW's put themselves so far in a really good spot to, at a minimum, be in the conversation for an at-large bid should they not win the OAC. They've got a lot of work to do as this team thinks that they legitimately have Sweet 16 potential. It would be hard to argue against that. Bryn Serban misses the layup. Might have been partially blocked.
I think that's a credit to Coach Hare that she realized what kind of team she was bringing back, that she scheduled some more of the elite teams and get this team prepared for the NCAA tournament.
I don't know if I can ever remember in the roughly 10 years I've been covering the Jackets, I don't know if I can ever remember a women's basketball schedule where I thought to myself, it's kind of soft. I mean, Coach Hare has always been willing to go and try to schedule teams that could come out there and, wipe the floor with them, but in the hopes that they would win. And obviously, that's why BW got in the NCAA tournament last year, despite being knocked out of the quarterfinals of their own tournament because their non-conference SOS was so good, it stood out to the selection committee.
Definitely, and I was just saying this year she really knew it. She went after more of those top 10 teams than,
Sure.
that are usually top 10 teams. Washington out of St. Louis was a little down this year, but preseason you would think these teams were going to be in the top 10 and go for them. So, hey, we want to be in the Elite 8 or further.
Riley Schill, first basket of the night. It's a 3 ball from up top. And at the time the Jackets beat Wash U, good defense, Lily Edwards, excuse me. Really, really good. Anyways, at the time that the Yellow Jackets knocked off Wash U from Missouri, they weren't having a bad season. This one's hoisted from just outside the right elbow. Up to date, Wash U at 7-5. That's because they've lost 3 in a row. They're actually playing in Cleveland this weekend. They've got Case Western Reserve. Hale on the right side. Nope. Effect grabs a miss. Approaching the final minute of the first half, the Jacket lead is 12.
7-5 in a very tough conference, too.
Oh my gosh. I think the UAA is the toughest league in the country, other than maybe the NESCAC, in literally almost every sport. Edwards banging around, didn't get it. Lily almost traveled. 5 to shoot, turns around, missed it. Ohio Northern grabs the rebound. Good job by Stoller. Shot clock and game clock are about 6 seconds apart here. Boy, if W can keep Ohio Northern under 20 points in the first half, that would be a pretty impressive feat. Polar Bears are shooting just 26%. That will decrease with that miss. 6 of 24. It's 25% in the first half. All right, 7 seconds here. Riley Schill holding it. 3, 2 to the right side. Schill from the key. Banks it in as time expires. They couldn't do it at the end of the first quarter, but they executed it perfectly there right before halftime.
We've talked about it all first half. 5 points in the second quarter. The defense was, some of that's the Ohio Northern Polar Bears missing open shots and things, but great defense by the Jackets to hold. I think that might be a season low for points allowed in a quarter. 5 points this year. That's impressive to only hold a team to 5 points in a quarter.
5 points on 2 of 15 from the floor. Wow. How about that? Ohio Northern started 4 of 11, but they were 6 of 26 now here at halftime. So the Yellow Jackets have a 33-19 lead as they head into the locker room. It's a 14-point advantage. BW with their largest lead of the evening. Looking good, but still far away from being over. We'll step aside during halftime and come on back here in a little less than 15 minutes for live streaming coverage of the second half. We'll try to give you an update from the men's game, too. Polar Bears and Jackets are playing out in Ada on the men's side. You're listening to Yellow Jacket Basketball tonight on BWYellowJackets.com. Welcome back to our live streaming coverage of Baldwin Wallace basketball tonight, where the Jackets have a 33-19 lead over the Ohio Northern Polar Bears as we get ready to start the second half. I'm Brendan Gulick alongside Jeff Miller. Coverage of our game tonight presented to you by Jimmy John's in Middleburg Heights. We're freaky fast, so your sandwich arrives freaky fresh. Call us at 440-625-0745, or you can order online at jimmyjohns.com. Jeff, the Jackets put a little separation between them and the Polar Bears there in the second quarter. Outscored them 17-5. Jackets shot 7 of 14 from the floor in the second quarter. Ohio Northern 2 of 15. How'd you think they got that done?
That's pretty impressive number for the lack of what was going on for the Polar Bears. And I said it earlier, this is exactly what the Jackets needed to do, is pull away. You let Ohio Northern stick around, it's going to be a close game, and somehow that's when Ohio Northern somehow pulls out a victory here in Earthsprung.
This has the makings of the kind of game that BW can look back on, and perhaps as the season goes along, they can think to themselves, gee, this could be not a turning point for the season, because that means that something was going poorly, but perhaps more so looking at their depth and recognizing that they're not just relying on their seniors to score. Megan Scheibel had a game-high 10. She's been fouled 4 times tonight as Lexi Jacobs gets an early layup. And Gabby Garrett's contributed 8 points in 7 minutes off the bench. Starting 5 out there right now for the Jackets and for the Polar Bears. Just underway in the third quarter. Kara Marshall right side, they swing it around. Riley Schill in the corner. Under 10 to shoot. Marshall thought about driving. Riley's open for 3. And it fell away. Good box out from Mesher.
I was just about to say, if I was the Jackets, I might think about attacking the rim and going at Mesher to pick up a quick third foul.
We apologize for any of the audio technical difficulties that for some reason were bothering us throughout the first half, but hopefully those are behind us at this point. Jackets lead by 12. They've never trailed. The 14-point lead at halftime was their largest of the night. Kara Marshall left on an island. She wanted to shoot a 3. Instead decided to drive. And she's got 2 free throws coming. She thought maybe she'd get 3 the hard way.
She probably didn't think she was that wide open, was going to pull up for the jumper, and then realized it was the lane was parted.
You know, it's kind of funny. The men's game and the women's game at times can look very different from each other, as can the collegiate game and the professional game. I saw an interesting chart comparing in the NBA, comparing the 100 most popular spots on the floor that shots have been taken from, comparing this NBA season to the 2000-2001 NBA season. And in this NBA season, all 100 of those 100 most popular shots, as Casey Hughes gets it from Riley Schill and finishes it off.
3-pointers.
They were either threes or in the key within 3 feet of the basket, as if to say a dunk, a layup, or a good low post move. There wasn't a single shot selection in the 100 most popular outside the key but inside the 3-point line, as if to say the mid-range jumper is totally irrelevant, where 20 years ago that was a humongous part of the game. I think it goes to show there Kara Marshall had some good mental wherewithal to say, I'll take a more high percentage look. But anyways, I just thought that was kind of interesting and figured folks might enjoy that.
Or if you look at it, nobody can shoot the mid-range anymore.
Yeah, that's true too. How about a bomb from Brock? Rattles off the back of the rim. Good offensive rebound from Martrina Park. She's playing hard. Parks hasn't had great output so far tonight, but certainly appreciate her effort, especially on the defensive end. Mesher, and the foul. Casey Hughes tried to contest it.
It's her second? Yeah.
Just her second personal. Nobody for the Jackets is in deep trouble in that regard. We get some changes here. Tiffany Bentler, Gabby Garrett, and Izzy Andrews, Lily Edwards, all on. So Mesher, who's the team leading scorer, averaging over 10 a game, hits that free throw to give her 5 tonight. 5 points, 4 rebounds. Jackets lead 37-24. Just over 7 minutes left, third quarter. Garrett from just a step inside the free throw line. Now it's an effect, left side, 10 to shoot. Gabby after the skip pass, cutting around. Bentler up top, Andrews 2 to shoot. Cuts right down the middle with a finger roll, lays it in.
Pretty move there. Ohio Northern's trying to play into the BW game there by playing a 2-3 zone, and they just left the middle of the floor wide open for Andrews to go right down it.
Andrews with her first basket of the night, freshman out of Ann Arbor, Michigan.
I'll let you say that.
Mesher on Edwards, and Emily gets the better of Lily that time.
That was a pretty nice drop step and nice off the glass and in.
7 for Mesher. Next dead ball, we'll update you around the conference. Jackets the #1 team in the OAC right now. Ohio Northern is 3rd in league play. This is the kind of game you look back on at the end of the year. It really helps you determine seeding for conference tournament. Gabby Garrett hit 2 threes in the first half, missed that one. Lily Edwards got the offensive rebound and lays it in uncontested. Michelle Duran is not happy, and the Polar Bears call timeout. 41-26.
Just when you thought the Polar Bears were getting there with Mesher, they couldn't give up an easy basket to push that lead back up.
Ohio Northern coming off a bad loss on the road at Muskingum, their very first conference win of the year. The Muskies are getting blitzed in Alliance tonight, 64-31. They are 2 minutes into the second half. Elsewhere around the league, it's Wilmington 48, Otterbein 33. That game is still just about to start the second half. John Carroll leads Heidelberg by 8, 30-22 early third quarter. And Marietta is obliterating Capital 52-29. They're 2 minutes into the second half of their game. Jackets were the preseason league favorites. They've lived up to the hype so far. Ohio Northern trying to keep it tight. Lexi Jacobs for 3. She's got 11. 41-29, halfway through the third. Here's that 2-3 zone defense. UW saw a little bit of this last time out, but not a lot. Hensel. Andrews, good pump fake. Forgot the ball, though. 5 to shoot it. Garrett has to let this one go. Ohio Northern with a good defensive stand. Jaden Hale. Back from Serban. They feed Mesher. She skips it over the top. Jacobs driving. Misses from a few feet away.
Good look there for Jacobs. She's got the hot hand.
Megan Hensel, rhythm 3. Hits the wiring above the backboard to kill the ball. Ohio Northern's already had a third quarter with twice as many points as they had the whole second quarter. We're barely halfway through the third period. Hope you're enjoying our coverage tonight. The Jackets lead by 12. Trying to run their win streak to 5 in a row and move the record to 13-1. Ohio Northern misses a 3, top of the arc from Katie Iliff. Andrews. Hensel. A couple of young players that will certainly be part of the future. Sydney Diedrich, first action of the night. With the left hand, too strong. Under 4 to go, third quarter. And Hale is fouled. Ohio Northern will inbound on the baseline momentarily. And you start to think about what the Jackets still have to come. This is a BW team that has a couple big games within the next couple weeks. They're going to play at John Carroll 1 week from tonight. Of course, JCU is the reigning OAC tournament champion. They beat Ohio Northern last year in University Heights. That three ball missed everything from Serbin. Loose on the floor. And Riley Schill picks it up and gets fouled. Jackets also have Wilmington this upcoming weekend, and that'll officially be the halfway point of the conference slate. Once we get through next Wednesday, then the BW will have played everybody in the conference once. See if they can get through the league undefeated. Last team to go unbeaten in an OAC regular season, 18-0, was this year's senior class at Ohio Northern. When they were freshmen, they did it. Sydney Snyder for three on the left side, 44-29. In fact, Ohio Northern has a couple of 18-0 OAC regular seasons. They also did it back in the 2012-2013 campaign. That was a season they finished 27-2. 2013 and 2017, the last couple times that Polar Bears went dancing in the national tournament. Snyder looked like she had an opening. Got jarred free. Good effort trying to get it back, and the loose ball, jump ball, stays with BW. 2 years ago, Ohio Northern lost to the Marietta Pioneers in the OAC championship. That was a Marietta team, Jeff, that also had a boatload of senior talent on it. It's a sloppy turnover. With the left hand, floating it up there. Not really what Hale had in mind.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was the year that Marietta was a lower seed and knocked off a couple.
Oh yeah,
couple of top teams, including in the championship game that nobody thought the Polar Bears were going to lose that game on their own floor.
It was the first time Marietta's ever won the OAC championship.
I think we were in the car going somewhere. I don't remember where. I think we were listening to it.
Could have been in the men's tournament.
I think we were going to Marietta.
Yeah, because the men were playing at Marietta. That's exactly what it was. On the right side, Hale, three is short. Yeah, it was 2 years ago, the OAC. Oh, you know what? No, let me think about that. It was 3 years ago when the BW men's team lost the OAC championship at Marietta. 2 seasons ago, they were bounced in the semifinals at John Carroll, and then of course last year they won the tournament on the road at Mount Union. It's kind of funny, the years start to blend together, don't they?
Yes, they do. And that's just a sign of this conference, what happens, that you could be the best team and still be knocked off in the tournament.
Just a step in front of the free throw line. Stoller missed. Sydney Ward couldn't capitalize. And I think BW committed a foul there from behind. Looks like it's on Hannah Feck. She's not happy, but it's only her second. Baldwin Wallace 44, Ohio Northern 29 with 2:09 left in the third quarter. Kara Marshall takes Hannah's spot out there on the floor. Home games the rest of the season for BW include Marietta, Muskingum, Wilmington, John Carroll, and Mount Union in that order. The regular season will wrap up on Saturday, February 22nd at Otterbein. And then the following week will be the OAC tournament. Quarterfinals are on Tuesday, semifinals on Thursday. And the OAC championship will be played on Leap Day, Saturday, February 29th, the highest remaining seed. Riley Schill fouled, I think it was before she was shooting. Yep. I think there's a lot of people across the league right now that would say that Baldwin Wallace and John Carroll are the two best teams in the league. But you just never know how things go. Ohio Northern certainly very competitive. Disappointing for Otterbein that 2 of their starters got hurt because they were a legitimate title contender before those 2 injuries. Not sure that's going to be still the case anymore. Casey Hughes, 5 to shoot from the free throw line, looking for some help. Doesn't get it. In fact, thievery from Serbin.
We've all seen it over the years, Brendan, that the second half of the season always turns into a game that somebody shouldn't lose to somebody they definitely shouldn't lose to, and it happens not just to BW, but everybody in this league.
Let's see what the Jackets can do on this trip up the floor here. Left side three from Snyder, not quite. Just to your point, BW went 20-8 a year ago, but they had a stretch of basketball in early January that did not go well, losing 3 in a row. Marietta, Otterbein, and Ohio Northern on the road. That's going to stay on this end. Jackets also lost at Marietta when they played the Pioneers the second time around. They avenged that loss against Ohio Northern. They avenged their loss against Otterbein, but they did drop a game at John Carroll after beating the Blue Streaks here. So BW finished the regular season with a 13-5 conference record last year. Made an early exit in the quarterfinals of last year's tournament. Final minute, third quarter, Scheibelhut working on 10. Her career high is 14. She couldn't get to a dozen with that missed layup. Shot clock and game clock are roughly 2 seconds apart. Jackets lead by 12. Stoller and Serbin work together now right side, and Weckesser. And Mesher fouled by Scheibelhut, her second.
Now with that foul, the Polar Bears can take the last shot.
Sure can. Doesn't put them at the free throw line, though. Jackets did have one to give. 15.5 seconds left in the third. Boy, that's a really good drive all the way across the floor, but Weckesser did not score. The Jackets get it back here, so they'll take the last shot. All right, your best guess over the last 13 basketball seasons. What do you think the women's team's best OAC regular season record was?
Over the last 13 seasons?
Yeah, dating back to 06-07. I'll let you tell me in the early fourth quarter. Here's Riley Schill. Hughes to beat the buzzer. Not quite. 44-32, the Jackets lead by 12. 30 minutes down, 10 to go. BW trying to move to 7-0 in the OAC. They're in good shape here at home on BWYellowJackets.com. Back live on BWYellowJackets.com, where Baldwin Wallace has a 12-point lead, 44-32 as we start the fourth quarter. Andrews, Garrett, Hughes, Fecht, and Edwards for BW. And Fecht open for three, and she throws it way too long.
That's not her side. If anything was going to show from Saturday, it was closest to us in that same key port angle, but nope.
Not quite. Back to BW.
When she set the school record for threes in a game with 7, and I think she hit 5 of them in the second half, and probably 4 from that same spot.
Hannah had a game for the ages on Saturday, no doubt about that. Jackets silenced the Otterbein Cardinals. That was not a flash in the pan. Haneffect is that good and usually that consistent. Hannah's open here. Hughes catch and shoot, and she comes out of the gym with 3 points. Jacket lead balloons to 15.
An injury is a blessing in disguise for the Yellow Jackets. You don't ever want somebody to be hurt, and probably took away from their run last year, but it's definitely going to spark this team with her being back.
Hannah got hurt just 4 games into the year last year. It was a wrist injury. But she's fully recovered from that as Emily Mesher goes to the free throw line. All right, we've had a few minutes to think about it. Starting with the 06-07 season until now, of the 18 regular season games in the OAC, what do you think the Yellow Jackets' best record has been? And do you know what year it was?
I will not know what year it is, but I'm going to say 15-3.
The Jackets in 2007-2008 finished the regular season 16-2.
Wow.
They went 15-3 in the 2013-2014 campaign, which BW did make an NCAA appearance that year. So we got a timeout on the floor. I believe it was 2014. Is it 14 or 15? One of the 2 years, there were 4 teams from the OAC that made the NCAA tournament.
If it's 15, that was the year with Audrey Smolik, and they went to Calvin.
I think it was that year. I think it was Mount Union, Ohio Northern, Capital, and BW all went to the NCAA tournament.
Is that the year that Capital ended up coming out of nowhere and winning the tournament?
Yes, absolutely. Yep, that was exactly how it happened. Anyways, in the 2007-2008 season, the Jackets had a ridiculous run. From December 5th through March 7th, they lost 1 game. The team lost to Hope 68-58 on March 8th to end the regular, or I should say to end their NCAA tournament. That was heartbreaking for BW, no doubt about that. Made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament that year. Finished that year 27-3, but they went 16-2 in league play. Jackets, I don't believe they've ever had a 30-win season. Lily Edwards on the right side. We'll get the MIT kids on it. Let us know. Effect was open for half a second. Hughes 8 to shoot. Back to Hannah, low pass. Garrett, 3 to get a shot off. Underneath, Edwards turns, and she gets it. Not sure you can do it better than that. Use the entire 30 seconds, and they score. 6 for Lily Edwards. The Jacket lead is 49-34. Ohio Northern adds 2 more. Emily Mesher having a good afternoon, or I guess evening. Hughes is open for 3. Way too much heat on it. Actually, that last basket was scored by Annie Weckesser. It was her first basket. 11 points apiece for Jacobs and Mesher leading Ohio Northern. Yankel had it stripped, got the loose ball back, and then she was the last one to touch it before it went out. All right, Abby Weeks returns. Tiffany Bettler's in there for BW, and Megan Hensel is in. Ohio Northern trying to throw the kitchen sink at BW, everything they can handle. Full court press, zone defense, man-to-man defense. Doubling inbounds passes a couple times. Hensel was fouled by Ohio Northern as she pulled that one in. Foul's apparently on Weckesser.
Which almost looked like it was over the back on Hensel.
It was close. Jackets shooting 41%. Ohio Northern is at 26% for the game. BW's never trailed. Got out to an 8-1 lead Ohio Northern's made it close, but never looked back. Baseline inbound coming.
A 5-point quarter and a 2 of 15 shooting in the second quarter really did them in.
Yeah, no doubt. Give BW some credit tonight. They've got 12 assists on 19 made baskets. That's a reasonable ratio, but 11 turnovers is a credit to the ONU defense. Hensel is open. She releases. Halfway down. Here come the Polar Bears. Abby Weeks right side. Into the left corner. Jacobs open. Needs it and gets it. 49-39.
To answer your 30-win question, not during the tenure of Sherry Hare in her 30 years. Her best record was 28-2 in 1999-2000.
All right. Well, maybe this could be a storybook season. We'll never be able to guess. It's all speculation until you look back on it after the fact.
And looking back more into this, there hasn't been a 30-win. That's the school record for wins in a season.
28?
28.
Okay. Well, if the Jackets can win tonight and Saturday, they would officially be at 14-1 and get halfway to that 28.
Well, that was 2 good years for Coach Hare and the Yellow Jackets. 28-2 the one year, 27-3 the next.
It's a pretty proud tradition here at BW. If you're a young girls basketball player, either in elementary school or perhaps in high school, and you're considering playing at the collegiate level, I know this sounds like a free plug, but I'm not sure what more you could want from the experience that Sherry Hare and her assistants over the years have been so committed to giving their student athletes. We see a lot of alums come back and support the program because they enjoyed so much of their time while they were here. And at times, Coach Hare is pretty intense. She can be a tough coach, but I don't think anybody would say that they didn't feel like they came out a better player than when they had come in. On the right side, Brock misses a 3. Foul on the floor. Coach Hare, and perhaps it's appropriate to bring this up because she's only a handful of wins shy now of 600 in her Hall of Fame career. 5 minutes to go, fourth quarter here. She should hit that mark unless something cataclysmic happens later in the year here. She should hit that mark within the next couple of weeks. Lexi Jacobs, not quite.
If things stay put as they are right now, it would be next Saturday, the 25th.
Okay.
And going back to her in her 30, this is her 30 years, and 29 of her previous seasons, she's had 16 seasons of 20 or more wins.
Wow. Well, she's averaging 20 a year. Next Saturday, the 25th, would be against the Marietta Pioneers here on this home floor. Hopefully that'll be a fun day to celebrate. And Weeks down the left side, blocked out of bounds. Michelle Duran saying that's got to be a foul. None of the officials saw it that way.
Sorry, Brendan. And only 2 of her 29 years coming in have been losing seasons. You want to guess what those were?
Probably her first 2.
You got it.
Not too many people stay in the same job for 30 years, let alone stay at the same school. Lily Edwards grabs the rebound. Heck, there's a lot of people that change careers more than once over a 30-year stretch. Hannah Fecht, good find, dribbling through the lane, splits the defense, lays it in to go up by 14.
She just made that look real easy.
53-39.
And not even having somebody be in a position for 30 years, to have 2 of the top Division III coaches and 2 of the top 3 women's basketball coaches with wins
of all time
in the same conference.
Dixie Jeffers and the Capital Crusaders were just here about a week and a half ago. The Jackets beat Capital 61-56. Well, those 2 teams have had some fun battles over the years, haven't they?
There's been a lot of great games between those 2. When those years in the mid-'90s when Capital was winning national championships without thinking about it. Those were some great battles between Coach Jeffers and Coach Hare.
They won back-to-back titles in the early 90s. They were also national runner-up twice. They were champs or runner-up 4 out of 5 years in the early 90s. Casey Hughes, deep three. Kara Marshall crashes the offensive rebound. Great effort. 3:37 left in regulation. The Jackets lead it 53-39. Riley Schill in the corner. Casey Hughes on the right side, 5 to shoot. Goes up, bobbled it, gathered it, scored it. 7 for the senior from Springboro. They're definitely the Panthers. Down in the greater Dayton area. Yankel's 3, hits the front of the rim, fell away. She got her own miss.
I definitely would not have known that one.
On the right side. How about a Serbin 3? Ohio Northern is 4 of 23 shooting the three-pointer today. Diedrich in for Edwards. Garrett replaces Marshall. Jacobs leaves the floor for Ohio Northern. Alyssa Stoller back in there.
If things stay put for the next 3 minutes, you know, a lot can happen. This would be the lowest point total the Yellow Jackets have held a team to this year. 49 going in on 2 different occasions.
It would also be Ohio Northern's lowest offensive output. You know what? I take that back. It was 38 at Capital. They lost 53-38, so they did have one other rather poor offensive game as Riley Schill from the left corner looks pretty good in her return to the floor tonight. 7 points for her, hits that mid-range jump shot. Jacket lead is 18. The ankle got bumped around a bit. Well, national polls were updated earlier this week. Baldwin Wallace moved up 2 spots from 14 to 12. Top 3 teams in the country, Bowdoin, I should say Tufts at number 1, then Bowdoin, and then Hope. They're all undefeated. And you got a bunch of really good one-loss teams. Boy, it just must not be Ohio Northern's night, because I don't know how that didn't go in. You got Amherst, number 4 in the country. They won back-to-back national championships 2 and 3 years ago, undefeated both seasons. They're 13-1. DePauw's 14-1, they're 5th. You've got Wisconsin Whitewater, Wartburg, Whitman, Transylvania, and Scranton rounding out the top 10. And then 1 spot in front of BW is Loris. Loris handed Wartburg Wartburg's only loss of the year. And of course, Wartburg is BW's only loss of the season.
We had, what, Loris here 3 years ago?
Sure
4
did.
years ago?
Yep. In that big holiday tournament. Less than 2 minutes to play in regulation. Of course, Loris out in Iowa. Gabby Garrett underneath, fouled before she could turn around and shoot it. Other teams to keep your eye on across the Great Lakes region this year. Let's see who else is receiving votes, perhaps. Nobody. How about that? Hope, DePauw, and BW. I think everybody else is outside the 5 conferences that make up the Great Lakes. Garrett going to the free throw line.
Well, luckily we finally got rid of Thomas More.
They are no longer a Division III school. They play NAIA competition now. You start thinking about regional rankings or wins against regionally ranked opponents. 5 conferences in the Great Lakes region are, of course, the Ohio Athletic Conference, the Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Association, President's Athletic Conference, the North Coast Athletic Conference, and the, I think it's the Allegheny Mountain Collegiate Conference, right? AMCC, I think they're in the Great Lakes. OAC, the PAC, NCAC, MIAA.
Heartland.
Oh, the Heartland, that's right. Allegheny Mountain is out in the East region. The Heartland is the other one in our region. Good lay in there for Ohio Northern. Just window dressing, though, at this point. First points of the game for Molly Palasek, sophomore out of Wadsworth. Just 1:15 left. The Jackets lead the game by 18 points. And ever since they slammed the door shut on Ohio Northern in that second quarter, the Jackets have had a double-digit lead the rest of the way.
And out of the Heartland, Transylvania's 12-1 and 6-0 in their conference play going into today.
Transylvania is a very good team. So it's Hope, DePauw, Transylvania, and BW. Everybody else is from somewhere else. Final minute. Jackets on their way to a 13-1 start, 7-0 in league play. Garrett holding to the right side. Snyder, 10 to shoot. And a BW turnover.
And looking in the region again, Brendan, a win that the Yellow Jackets already have against another, as of today, conference leader. St. Vincent leads the pack with a 6-0 record, but they're 10-5, and one of those losses are to the Jackets early on.
W&J having a decent season, but maybe not quite what BW expected from the Presidents. Going to foul on Garrett underneath.
Yeah, three teams at the top of that league that you normally wouldn't probably see. St. Vincent, yes, but Westminster and Grove City up at the top of that league this year.
Jackets opened the season with a 14-point win over Skidmore, but the Thoroughbreds are 2-10 on the season, not having a good year in the Liberty League. And foul shot's good. Meanwhile, Rochester, who is typically an outstanding program, kind of taken a cliff dive the last couple years. They're 6-6, which is fine, but it's a far cry from the 24-5 year they had 2 seasons back. They were almost a lock to be an NCAA tournament team year in and year out. BW's strength of schedule in the non-conference this year was St. Vincent, Wartburg, and Wash U. Gabby Garrett going to dribble it out, and Baldwin Wallace will win their 5th in a row, start the season 13-1. We are roughly halfway through the number of games the Jackets expect to play in the 2019-2020 campaign. And they have had a really impressive showing. A lot of basketball to be played, Jeff, but this team certainly looks like they are starting to come together in a pretty powerful way. They haven't beaten Ohio Northern by 17 points too many times in the last decade. Today, a pretty decisive win.
And usually not here either. It's a very close game. And one of the things that I think is really great about this team is they're a team. They're focused to be with each other. They no longer run out together during the introductions. The 5 don't come out. They huddle together and get announced. After every game, they've been doing this prayer huddle or circle with every opponent that comes here. So this is all about them being a team. It's not, I don't think they're worried about individual accolades like some teams are. They really want this. They want to go.
Well, and I not only agree with that, I mean, I think a night like tonight really backs that up. BW's 2 leading scorers were Megan Scheibelhut and Gabby Garrett, who combined on average this year go for just over 7 points per game. Tonight they went for 20 total. Scheibelhut, 10 points in 12 minutes. She also had 5 rebounds. Gabby Garrett off the bench played just over 17 minutes tonight. She also had 10. But how about the plus-minus for some of BW's best players? Even though Hannah Fecht didn't have a great offensive evening, her plus-minus tonight was plus 25. If you're unfamiliar, that means when she was on the floor, the Jackets outscored the Polar Bears by 25 points. Casey Hughes' plus-minus tonight was plus 21. Riley Schill finished the game with 7 points. Hughes had 7. Fecht had 6. Lily Edwards had 8 points, 8 rebounds. This was a balanced Yellow Jacket stifling attack. They led by as many as 20. They never trailed, and they gave Ohio Northern quite a statement. Polar Bears with 14 from Lexi Jacobs, 11 from Emily Mesher. But Ohio Northern didn't shoot the ball very well tonight, just 4 of 23 from behind the three-point line. And perhaps it's fair to point that out, too, about BW. Jackets only 5 of 22 from behind the three-point line. 59 points is certainly a good bit below their season average. But when you play defense the way the Jackets did tonight, that's a winning formula.
Yeah, it's probably. I was looking before the game. They've 3 of their last 4 they've scored 70 or plus, and now only 59. But yeah, the defense stepped up. They shoot threes. They like to nail those threes. They didn't do it, but 23 of 52 from the field is going to do it. And like we talk about, 8 of 9 from the line. They didn't go a lot, but when you go, you got to get those points. And they're doing what they should. They're a smart team. They're playing well. There's no doubt about it. There's great things for this team.
Well, the biggest number from a team perspective that jumps off to me tonight, Ohio Northern had 14 made shots. They only had 5 assists, and they had 13 turnovers. 14 made baskets in 40 minutes is not particularly good, and that has a lot to do with the way Jackets played defense tonight. So Baldwin Wallace with a 59-42 win over Ohio Northern. Jackets on the season 13-1. They go to 7-0 in league play. And Ohio Northern, their second straight loss. Polar Bears fall to 10-4, and they are now 4-3 in conference. Next up for the Jackets, they've got the Wilmington Quakers on the road Saturday at 3 o'clock. And then they'll go across town to play John Carroll, which will officially mark the midway point of the OAC schedule. Wilmington and John Carroll, both road games coming up Saturday and Wednesday. If the Jackets can find a way to win both of those games, when they come back home to play Marietta on Saturday the 25th, could be a historic day here in Berea. Sherry Harrer would be in line to win her 600th career game should they get it done that afternoon.
It'd be really nice if they could do it, because you and I both went on the road for the 500. Somehow Sherry Harrer doesn't win her milestone games at home. They're always on the road. So it'd be really nice for her to win one here in Ersprung so everybody can enjoy it. And on another milestone, Coach Heil from the men's team won his 100th career games last Saturday. So there's a lot of milestones going on in this season for the Yellow Jackets. And I'm just going to give you a quick one. The men's team is down 5 with 5 seconds left to go, 79-74 in Ada.
Okay, we'll cross our fingers. It's something special happens out in Ada. In the meantime, it was a special night here in Berea. Baldwin Wallace wins again, 59-42. They beat Ohio Northern, and the Jackets are rolling here in 2020. I'm Brendan Gulick for Jeff Miller and our entire production crew. Thanks for being a part of the Yellow Jackets and Polar Bears tonight. We'll look forward to seeing you again here real soon. In the meantime, the men come home to play Wilmington and John Carroll while the ladies are on the road. And we'll have the next women's broadcast for you coming up January the 25th. Jackets a winner tonight by 17 points over Ohio Northern. You've been watching Ohio Northern and Baldwin Wallace basketball on BWYellowJackets.com. So long, everybody.